This is Ryan Abraham, USCFootball.com. First scrimmage here in the Coliseum for the USC Trojans spring football. We're here with Chris Wilson, the new defensive line coach. What did you think out here today?
Well, it was what we thought it'd be. Obviously, it's the first day actually tackling and blocking and playing to the ground, and there were some really good things like always, but there were a few things, and actually a lot of things that we got to improve. Two things that really stood out is effort. You know, we've got to be able to play faster up front.
As far as playing faster, were these guys excited to actually be able to hit people and tackle? Did that help them play a little faster?
It does. It does. And obviously having a crowd here obviously helps. We got people out watching you, so yeah, that was good. But the two things, like I said, it'll probably be my stance. The next 7 practices, our technique and effort. You know, we've got a lot of work to do. We've got to keep pushing forward in that regards.
You mentioned the next 7 practices. What are your goals? What do you want to try to accomplish for this group of defensive linemen?
You know, I want to get a core group of guys that we feel like we can win the Pac-12 with. I want to know who those are. That's really key from the guys that are practicing. I want to know who our key backups coming out of these next 7 practices are. And so guys are beginning to position themselves. Obviously, there's no starters, but put themselves in a position to be considered that.
Now, for USC fans that aren't really familiar with the schemes, going from kind of a 5-2 front to more of a 3-4, 4-3 kind of hybrid, can you describe the positions on the defensive line that you'll be coaching, what they're called and what they do?
Well, I coach the 4 down, basically. I coach the end, the nose, and the tackle, and we play a rush linebacker who's more of an outside linebacker attached guy, and I coach all 4 of those guys. And the great thing about them is, you know, we're a 3-4 team who's multiple. We can play everything. We can play over front, we can play under front, we can play everything known to man. And in this day in college football, you have to.
Who's the guys kind of at that rush end? It's kind of like a linebacker position. Is that something that can switch, and who are the guys that are fighting for that right now?
Well, right now Scott Starr is definitely in the mix. I think he's having a good camp. J.R. Tavai's in there as well as Charles Burks.
Leonard Williams hasn't been able to practice. How much does that impact what you're doing on the practice field?
Well, I other than watching him last year, it seems like it impacts a lot, but I hadn't had a chance to touch him yet to know. But I like the guys that we have, and obviously I like the guys that we have coming back. And so it's important that he's out here learning our system, and he feels a part of it, and that he understands the concepts that we have to have down when we go into the fall.
I guess all the guys are new to you, but one that's new to USC fans, Claude Palon, or Palon, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. What's he been look like there? He's wearing number 9. He kind of looks like George Uko from last year.
He has flashes. He's like a lot of young guys. He's learning the system, and he's learning what kind of tempo and what kind of effort that's required. And the one thing, you know, we have to pride ourselves on here is being a physical front.
As far as the guys that you have, spent the last few years in the SEC. Can you compare the bodies, the guys that you've seen here, to the guys in the SEC? Is there a comparison there?
Very similar. You got guys we got guys from 320 to 295 is a light guy for us. So we've got plenty of size. The one thing that I think that's different is we're also athletic. And to me, that's when you're very exceptional. When you can not only have space heaters, but you can have guys who can make plays in space, and you have to in the Pac-12.
And one last thing for you, Coach. You spent the last year at Georgia. What's the transition like been to Los Angeles so far?
The colors. Once the ball hits, it's all ball. You know, and this is my 22nd season. Both schools really love football. The culture is about football. There's excitement in the air, so there's no drop off. The biggest thing is that you're in obviously a city of millions that have a lot of options, and so it's nice to know that SC is one of those.
All right, thanks very much, Coach Wilson. Signing off from the Coliseum, Ryan Abraham. Check out USCFootball.com for more.